Hey man, what's up? What was that? I gotta check this out. Hold on. Let me get online. Okay, I'm logging on now. What the heck? Let me try YouTube.
Mom, what did you do with the internet? It's not working.
Come on, work. Come on.
Welcome to the network. I'm Jane Beck. In this episode of Your Truth, we heard that there may be a chance we might not be able to go to MySpace or Facebook, YouTube, or any of our other favorite websites. We also heard that there were some internet service providers who were blocking people from going to their favorite websites, which is against our First Amendment rights. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right, there's no way this is ever going to happen. Well, guess what? It's already been happening.
Last year, some broadband subscribers complained to the Commission that Comcast was blocking and delaying their internet traffic. Our investigations and the findings of several widely respected engineers confirmed their complaints. Comcast was delaying subscribers' downloads and was blocking their uploads. It was doing so 24/7, regardless of the amount of congestion on the network or how small the file might actually be. And even worse, Comcast was hiding that fact by making affected users think that there was a problem with their internet connection or their application. Today, the Commission tells Comcast to stop and to disclose to its subscribers and its customers how it is going to manage traffic on a going forward basis.
Okay, so the evidence proves that we've been blocked. So what can we do? Well, we heard that the only way to stop big corporations from telling us what to do or where we can go is if we had net neutrality. So we had to find out, is the internet as we know it about to change, and what is net neutrality?
Do you know what net neutrality is?
Is that something new for the internet?
And do you know what net neutrality is?
No.
I honestly do not have any clue.
Internet neutrality? No. No. I don't think so.
Okay. Do you know what net neutrality is?
No. Well, you know, the term itself, I have to say, I'm not really familiar with, but the concept, yes.
Right. So are you aware of what net neutrality is?
I am, and I realize that would give the larger players on the internet more bandwidth and prioritization, I guess, in access speed, that sort of thing, where maybe websites which are a little more private and smaller would get maybe slower access,
right.
A little harder to access.
Right.
So do you know what internet neutrality is?
Nope.
For sure. It's come up a lot amongst people I know.
Why do you think you've never heard of this? Why do you think this is a new concept? This is the first time you've heard this?
I'm not sure. It's probably not broadcast. It's not out there enough.
Yeah, I've heard internet. I've heard neutral. I've heard neutral. I've heard neutered.
I believe it means that anybody can put things on the internet. You don't have to pay to be on the internet, I'm assuming.
Well, no, I didn't know of its name, but I knew of the infringement upon freedom of speech on the internet and how they block sites, how they make it so certain people can't get certain information.
Someone wanted to download a copy of the King James Bible, and because of Cox's limited communications, because they were being selective as to who they were going to take information from, it came out in public because they could not download this Bible.
Well, net neutrality, as defined by Webster's New Millennium Dictionary, is the principle that basic internet protocols should be non-discriminatory, especially that content providers should get equal treatment from internet operators. So, what would it be like without net neutrality? Well, as we said before, you might not be able to go to some of your favorite websites. You may have to pay more for music or movie downloads. We would have censored speech and censored content. And you might not be able to use the services that you want because your internet service provider has made a deal with someone else. For example, let's say you want to buy something on eBay and you use PayPal, but your internet service provider has made a deal with a different online payment company. That means you won't be able to use PayPal, or If you want to use PayPal, you're going to have to pay an extra service charge. That doesn't sound too good, right? Okay, so net neutrality means no discrimination, no favoring one website over another, no paying to get ahead of somebody else. Great, let's have net neutrality. What's the problem? Well, as we investigated further into the issue, we found that the problem is that big telecom companies or big internet service providers were telling the government and the people that if we have net neutrality, it would push us even further behind in technological advancement in the world. Wait a minute, didn't America invent the internet? How could we be behind?
According to the OECD, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, America is no longer ranked #1 in internet technology, but ranked 19th in the world. So how did this happen? Well, you see, back in the 1990s when everyone used dial-up connection to connect to the internet, you remember that dial-up tone. Then came cable and DSL, which made the internet a little bit faster. But now we've been introduced to the fiber optic network. A phone line uses one copper wire to connect to the internet, while DSL and cable use multiple copper wires. However, fiber optics uses glass and lasers to connect to the internet, making it much faster. In fact, it's 45 times faster than the internet we use today. So back to fiber optics. It's super expensive. Back in the 90s, when the whole world was competing to see who would come out on top in technology, America was planning on building the first fiber optic network. The only question was, who's going to pay for it and who's going to build it? Well, telecom companies had an answer. They suggested that government give them special tax breaks and be able to charge consumers more money for basic services. That way, they could build America's fiber optic network. Fast forward to 2009, where's our fiber optic network? Well, the telecom companies never built it. In reality, they received $125 billion in tax breaks, as well as a 128% increase in profits. In fact, two guys called Teletruth in New York are suing them.
All the phone companies then basically said, we'll step up to the plate and we'll do this wiring plan. None of it ever happened.
Kushnick and his colleague Tom Allibone are telecommunications muckrakers who call themselves Teletruth. They're in the process of filing lawsuits against several regional phone companies. They allege that the Baby Bells promised fiber optic connections nationwide, but didn't deliver.
By the year 2006, our research shows that 86 million households should have been wired with fiber, i.e. the majority of the United States. Had they had just kept the eye on the ball and done this work, America would not be in the situation we are in today, which is inferior services for high costs.
So here we are now. The fiber optic network never got built, and we need it fast. America's falling behind, and the question still remains, who's going to build it and who's going to pay for it?
Well, guess what? The telecom industry has another idea. Their idea is to create a new internet made up of entirely fiber optics. But the condition is that on this new internet, they can control where you can go, and they can control who gets to come to you. But if we have net neutrality, they can't control anything on the internet we know now or the new network they want to build. And some people say that this is what could happen if we have this new internet. Let's say you're starting an online business, but you can't afford the premium access price. Well, customers online might not be able to get to your site as quickly, or your site might not load at all. Basically, this means that you can't compete fairly in what used to be an open, free market. And on the flip side, it limits your choices as an internet user of where you go to browse news, listen to music, shop, or do anything that you do online. The money needed to build this new tiered fiber optic network will be from charges and fees that we never used to pay for, and which will also allow the telecom industry to act as internet gatekeepers. But if we have net neutrality, then the telecom industry will just have to build the fiber optic network as an investment and get a return on their investment based on the quality of their services.